Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Doctor Who vinyl record review. Yes, that's right, it's another review, and I'm going to be taking a look at another rather dazzling and pretty looking vinyl, because I'm taking a look at the Vinyl Who series as produced by the Demon Music Group. In particular, for today's review, the latest release in the series, and that is of course the 1960s Second Doctor story, The Ice Warriors, as written by Brian Hills. This is of course a 6-part 1960s Doctor Who story, and as a result it has been pressed across 3 vinyl records with a molten ice design, which basically means they're kind of a clear blue with like an unusual transparent tint in there as well. And of course brand new exclusive artwork especially created for this collector set. The recommended retail price for this collector set is around £50, and it's currently available to order online now from the likes of Amazon, as well as no doubt a number of other retailers. Hopefully if you're a fan of vinyl, you may be able to go into your local record shops and pick this up, or maybe ask them to order it in order to support your local retailers, or even if you have a local HMV, I'm sure that they will probably be getting some stock in at some point as well, very much like how they have done with some of the previous releases as a part of the Vinyl Who series. So let's get right into it and take a look at the actual product itself, and of course the rather lovely looking records on the inside. As always with the Who vinyl series, most will not be buying this release to experience the story for the first time. It's intended to be a visual media, so I recommend watching the DVD with the animated missing stories in between. The likely reason to buy this product is the design, to have this story in a new pleasing format, and to in keep with what Demon Music Group do best, and that is of course very pretty looking records. The Doctor Who logo really stands out on the darker blue background. The text is given the usual silver embossed finish, making the product feel a high quality and special item. The BBC logo and title of the story also stand out using a bold white typeface. The art itself is by Louise Barden and Oink Creative as per usual, breathing new life into a black and white Doctor Who serial through stark colour, simplistic yet effective designs, and of course a vibrant backdrop to complete the look. The Ice Warrior itself is the central focus, commanding the cover with his vibrant green armour. Darker speckled and light green elements have been added on top of this to replicate the armour's texture, complemented by different shades of green. In particular, I like how the strands of hair poke out the different sections of armour, including the shoulders, waist and arms, something of which is often missed off other Ice Warrior artwork. The same can also be said for the smaller Ice Warrior at the front of the ice cave. The Ice Warrior's face features that rather iconic goggled red eye design, creating the illusion of almost being embossed or lenticular through the use of a variety of red shades. The rest of the face is a wonderful dotted green design, and he as always looks a little bit miserable about something. The pose of the Ice Warrior is also really great, copying a well-known Ice Warrior photo back from the 60s. This time I actually think that the background itself really sells this release. The contrast of the green and the blue create this brilliant effect of cold wintry blizzards, recreating the atmosphere of the ice cave well. The artwork really pops and will certainly stand out on display. The top is considerably dark, with icicles appearing underneath the Doctor Who logo, once more really emphasising that silver embossed finish. A series of lighter and darker blues have been used on the background, which are really pretty and give the appearance of the artwork almost glowing. My personal favourite touch is the tunnel of light shining down from above, with the white rays being applied on top of the blue, really emphasising the rough icy surface. Towards the opposite side of the ice cave, this opens out, featuring a white snowscape with blizzard. A rather satisfying touch is that the design that we have here is in fact very similar to the scene presented on the back of the record case. So flipping this over, we have a lovely wintry landscape, this time depicting the Tardis within the story's snow-filled terrain. Lots of artistic creativity has taken place here, with the dome of the Britannicus base in the background, looking ever so slightly like the Eden Project. Behind this, the snow piles up with smaller details of trees travelling up the side of the mountain, leading to a series of peaks. Darker blues have been used, much like the front, to highlight those smaller details. The Tardis follows a rather similar simplistic design with a wooden texturing on the top. One of the most satisfying consistent things about the Who vinyl series is that we usually get to see the Tardis exterior in various different landscapes depending on the context of the story. And no matter what episode or era we are within, the Tardis in fact remains the same. So yes, technically speaking, this Tardis exterior box is in no way accurate to what we get to see on screen. If anything, it is just a general Tardis design which could fit into any era, which I think given the style of these products, it works rather well. However, one of the funny things of this series is that, of course, a lot of the colour palettes do vary. So with the likes of the Marco Polo release, we had a rather orangey red design, and as a result, the Tardis was also a rather orangey red. This time it is in fact the most Tardis-y looking Tardis that we've seen so far, using a shade of blue. The cover artwork also features a lovely scattering of snow, which has been given a rather blurred outline, giving the impression of movement, which looks really cool. The foreground features further patches of snow, leading to further informational text at the bottom, stating that the episode features Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor. The episode has been written by Brian Hales, with linking narration by Fraser Hines, who does of course play Jamie McCrimmon. As always with this series, the overall production of the box itself is of a high quality. It feels like high quality material has been used, and of course it does protect the records on the inside of the box well. This is a 3 LP collector set, and as a result, like the vast majority of the record collector sets a part of the DMG series, it does in fact carry some weight to it. The case opens like a shoebox. On the inside of the lid we have the inclusion of the time vortex. This has been given the same colour palette treatment to that of the front cover art, using different shades of blue and a lighter white glow emanating from the middle. Within the box you do of course get the record sleeves. These have been piled up in order with a number on the side of the spine, making it easy to flick through between the different records. The first sleeve that each record comes in is made of a slightly thicker material. This features a larger artwork design which can be placed together in a certain order to reveal a larger picture. The first of which is the Ice Warrior within the Ice Cave, so basically a clean variation of the cover artwork with the Doctor Who logo absent, as well as the title of the story. And then as we flip the sleeves into a different order, on the back we get the inclusion of the back artwork featuring the TARDIS on the snow-filled landscape. Within the first record sleeve we have the inclusion of the regular record sleeve. On one side of the time vortex once again using various shades of blue, but this time we have the TARDIS in the middle. On the opposite side of the sleeve we have further details about the story itself, including a small cast list as well as a very brief synopsis about the story itself. On top of all of the records we have the inclusion of the usual leaflet, which has been made out of a slightly thicker paper. Upon opening this, it does reveal a full cast list for this story on a rather lovely white background, shades of blue and black, almost in a shooting star design. In the top hand corner we get the inclusion of the air dates for the serial being first broadcast on the BBC between the 11th of November to the 16th of December 1967. And then in the bottom hand corner we get the inclusion of a few production credits both for the 1960s serial as well as this vinyl record release. Due to this record collector set only featuring 3 LPs, it is in fact a rather slim case. As always, the case does come wrapped in cellophane upon delivery, as well as featuring the Who vinyl sticker at the very bottom, featuring some details about the story, as well as stating that this collector set features 3 140-gram records with a molten ice vinyl design. And what is a molten ice design, do you ask? Well, it is a rather lovely looking transparent clear vinyl, however with a little bit of blue sprinkled in there as well. In fact, on the promotional images, the vinyl does look considerably different to what it does in person. And the same can be said for throughout this review as well. It all depends what the background is. On a rather white background, the vinyl does in fact look a very vibrant blue. However, once you hold it up in the air, it does in fact go a more transparent, clearer blue with a few bluer flecks in there, kind of like a swirl design. Overall, it is really lovely, and as always with this series, it makes it a little bit more special compared to just being a regular black record. All of the records are similar in design, however, naturally due to the vinyl production process, they will vary ever so slightly in finish. As always with this series, the Demon Music Group have done a very good job with the overall presentation of these collector sets, and I think that consistency within the actual presentation as well as the design is what makes this series so collectible, because regardless of how many episodes that the serial has, or regardless of how large the box is, all of the boxes themselves are uniform in design. I love the fact that we have the embossed logo at the top presented very clearly, and then the rest of the box is very minimal in indeed. You basically have a full focus on the artwork itself, be it on the actual presentation box or even the sleeves of the records, and then more than often you also get a lovely design on the back as well. Simple things such as using the colours that are seen within the cover art itself, as well as on the presentation of the actual vinyl records, is a really lovely subtle touch and makes the entire box set feel very uniform, satisfying and consistent. And as always with this series, yes, £50 is rather expensive for a Doctor Who serial that you can pick up on DVD for probably around £6, and very much like how I mentioned in the main part of the review, the likelihood is you are not buying this release to experience the Ice Warriors as a story for the first time. Chances are you've probably seen the Ice Warriors as an episode multiple times, however simply want to add the story to your collection in a slightly different format to usual, of course, an audio of the story with linking narration. I think that this does a very good job of doing that, especially for a 1960s story. We are so used to the same promotional images over and over again, some rather basic artwork on some releases as well. It's just nice after so many years to have a brand new presentation of the story and artwork that is basically exclusive for this series. And no doubt if you've been collecting the Who vinyl series for as long as it has been going, you will now start to realise probably that your shelf is getting rather large indeed with many Doctor Who serials, but I like the fact that this line is delving into the 1960s and the classic era of Doctor Who as a whole, and delivering vinyls of Doctor Who stories that aren't simply the go-to. The fact that we don't have vinyl versions of the Robots of Death, the Talons of Wen Chiang, and other main Doctor Who stories, Doctor Who and the Silurians, the Sea Devils, the fact that they're dealing with Doctor Who stories that are perhaps considered a little bit more forgotten or obscure, makes this series all the more exciting and worth collecting, especially if you are a fan of records. In conclusion for this release, if you are a fan of the Ice Warriors as a story, I most certainly recommend collecting this vinyl record collector set, but also if you are a fan of collecting Doctor Who vinyls as a whole, I fully understand that this release will not be for everybody. It is for a particular type of Doctor Who fan, and if you are that type of fan, then this is most certainly a lovely record to add to your shelf or case or wherever you store your Doctor Who records, which I must admit by this point, my collector's case at home is getting rather packed indeed, and I love it. So thank you very much for watching this review. I really hope you have enjoyed it, very much like how I did mention at the very start of this review. The thing with the Demon Music Group series is that originally there was the standard edition and the Amazon exclusive with a slightly more exciting design on the record itself. They now seem to only be doing one design for one release, so as a result I do believe that these releases are now limited edition. So as we have seen with the likes of the Underwater Menace and a number of other releases, once they're sold out, they are sold out for good. So I recommend, if you're interested by what you've seen throughout this review, purchasing it soon in order to avoid disappointment. So thank you very much for watching this review. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Do of course stay tuned on the Host Productions for regular Doctor Who content, and of course most importantly, have a nice day. I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.